Welcome, everybody. We are doing recaps this week of DynamicsCon from last week in Chicago, and one of our session presenters from last week was David Laster. David is with us on the phone today. David, how you doing?
I am doing great, Noah. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, it was quite an event. Glad to be able to report
Awesome.
back on it.
We had a lot of presenters on sessions. You're the first I'm recapping with. So,
Hey.
any particular topic you want to start with, or you just maybe the vibe of the conference in general, the layout, the venue, the sessions.
Sure, I'm happy to offer some of that. For those who've been to DynamicsCon, it's one of those. It's a feeling you get like almost when you not quite enter it, like enter a theme park. You see the colors, you feel the excitement, and you start to see other folks that are like-minded. This year was equally colorful. I think the venue was fantastic. We were at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Chicago. It's one of the largest hotels in the world, and it fit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's over 2,000 beds in that building. It's a pretty
Hmm.
impressive structure for sure. Uh, but the
I
conference
was.
rooms were great. The layout was fantastic. A lot of people were able to get in and out of Chicago with direct flights, so we had pretty good attendance. We being me as an attendee, not that I'm, really associated with the event, but I think there were over 2,000, almost 2,200 people this year, which is, an X factor above what it's been the last couple of years that I've been going to DynamicsCon.
Yep. Awesome. I was curious how they would fit so many people in one hotel venue. So it's neat to know that's the largest one they've got there in the world. So impressive. And you had four sessions this past week. They were all on Wednesday and Thursday morning and afternoon sessions, and I think all of them related to GP topics and BC topics. Anything in particular from those sessions that you want to recap for us?
Yeah, sure. The telemetry presentation for Business Central is one of my favorite ones to do. There's so much great content there. We talked about that in our prior conversation, but it was an interesting experience. It was a big room. I've got a lot of people that asked for the deck and the presentation afterwards. I had people tell me that they've already implemented and we're starting some things at their own companies based on that. So the immediate feedback, only not even a couple days after that conference, is really heartwarming. But the challenge for me was Kenny Pontoppidan, the godfather of telemetry itself in terms of Business Central reporting and the app, sitting in the front row. A little bit nervous presenting in front of the man, but he was really helpful. I was able
Uh-huh.
to leverage him a little bit to provide clarity to others in the crowd. And honestly, I appreciate his support. He's been helping me with this topic for many years now, and being an advocate for how it can help customers and end users alike is something I'm pretty passionate about. So yeah, that was pretty
Awesome.
good.
And that was that Wednesday morning session you're talking about there.
It was, yeah, right after the keynote.
Yep. So that's the big rush. Everybody leaves the keynote, finds their session. So you kicked off that first round of sessions for Summit for DynamicsCon with everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of good. It was good. It was good. Then I had an afternoon session, which was great. This one I co-presented with Cecile Din, another MVP. That we talked about preparing your environment, your mindset for moving from on-prem GP to a cloud-based ERP. Try to keep it agnostic, but naturally we talked a lot about Business Central because that's our experience mostly. That's our journey for the most
Mhm.
part. So we could speak, directly to it. But it was a great discussion. I think the room was the right size, and people were truly engaged with good questions and follow-ups. But I think we made a pretty good point of across the seven different topics that we considered.
Mhm. Awesome. And for that first day of sessions there, there are so many attendees, but they had a ton of sessions lined up throughout the day. Um, how was the crowd for each sessions you had that day?
Crowd-wise was good. I think everybody was comfortable in the room. There was plenty of space because the venue was so large. So,
Mhm.
some conferences that you've been to and I've been to, you're like the room is not right sized. But that wasn't the case that many times. It was pretty rare that happened at this event. So that was a good venue.
Good, awesome. And then Thursday, you had two sessions as well. That morning session for modernizing the Dynamics experience, the ultimate GP to BC comparison to fast track your team. That was 8:30 again, bright and early.
That's the first class after breakfast. That's right. Yeah, jammed in a couple of muffins and some fruits, some coffee, and then people gathered in the room. That was a pretty highly attended session. And
Hmm.
again, I've got a lot of people that wanted my presentation deck from that one because we went through the 20 areas that I thought we could do some good comparisons on. I ran out of time again because there's so much content there. 60 minutes is a good window, but I talk too much. So, I got off to a little bit slower of a start. We did get through all 20 topics, but we did have to kind of speed date the last 4 or 5 topics. Good questions. It was interesting because there was at least one gentleman in the room with a really strong nav background, but didn't know GP. So his take was different than the rest of the room because he was actually trying to learn the GP stuff as opposed to the BC comparison. So great questions and clarity. And I've already connected with him in network fashion outside of the classroom. So yeah, a lot of good things came out of that session so far.
Awesome. Then in the afternoon, you had that 1:15 session, how to prepare for your Dynamics GP migration. That's a big topic for everybody nowadays.
Truly is, truly is. That paired up on that one as a panelist. There were 4 of us on there: Katie Metzger, Sean Dorward, Rod O'Connor, myself, and we've all been doing the GP to B thing for a while. So we've honed our sword, if you will, in terms of practices and experience and how to relate to the different scenarios you come across in an ERP implementation. We all had our different takes on things. We had
Hmm.
some great engaging prompts by the host, Rod O'Connor from E1 Solutions, and good questions again from the crowd to help clarify and get understanding more about what options were, about timeline, about costs, and things just to help set expectations for themselves, and then also how to go back and prepare their teams because there's no magic button. BC is not GP in the cloud, so
Yep.
it was a great opportunity to get them sort of infused with, what to think about moving forward.
Um, from all these sessions that you did, have you already posted materials to the DynamicsCon website for distribution, or how will they handle that kind of stuff?
I just yesterday got the email from the organizers asking us to upload our final presentation decks in PDF format. So
Okay.
I did mine last night. So mine are off the list. As soon as those become available publicly, then I imagine that Doug will get those downloaded for folks. Coming,
Awesome. Good
coming
deal.
soon.
Yeah. And the expo hall, you did not have a booth, but how is the traffic for expo hall?
Yeah, the first expo hall this year. I actually walked up and down the aisles at least twice. There were, I don't know, it was a good number of vendors there. Clearly, the first year of having an expo hall, is a good start. A lot of familiar faces there, people that have been in our industry for quite some time, supporting NAV and BC and GP and the Power Platform. Some new faces, some new booths, new brands that I've not been familiar with there,
Mhm.
covering a variety of other solutions, whether they be consulting solutions or product development type solutions. But yeah, it was a good mix, a good vibe. I think it was in a good space, so there was some decent traffic because you could go up and down the escalator and go through or around that expo hall. It had good hours of operation, so pretty much when you wanted to see somebody, you meet somebody, you could do so. And yeah, those guys always help defray the costs of these events. So it's good to support their cause, learn a little bit about what they do. One additional comment I'll have is that right in the middle of the expo hall was a whole bunch of cool color. Facing one direction on the left, Microsoft had a big booth as a big sponsor of the event, and it was engaging. They had a nice booth because they had nice computers set up. They had pins, they had stickers. They had socks every day, and a lot of neat information that they were sharing with good representation. And then on the right side was the Doug group booth. So anything about the Doug meetups or programs that was there, really colorful display. And the Doug family was all there to help answer questions and introduce people to what they can do after DynamicsCon is over.
Have you done any of the Doug meetup groups yourself?
A couple now, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm active in the New England chapter here. Andrew Ryerson and Andrew Lensack are
Okay.
the meetup leaders there, I believe. And we had a little meetup at DynamicsCon for some familiar faces from the New England area, as well as some new faces interested in that specific meetup. I've also participated in the Winnipeg. I did a presentation for Winnipeg meetup remotely once. So yeah, I think these are great meetings to attend. The more people that know about it, the more people will go, and obviously that attracts, some more opportunities for learning.
The meetups that you've been to, have they been the in-person ones or online?
I've done a combination of both.
Okay. I'm curious because I just signed up this week for one in my area in Northwest Florida.
Hmm.
So it just caught my attention with all the marketing and stuff from DynamicsCon, and I saw it in my area, so I signed up for it. And that's going to be next week that was going to be online. So
Hmm.
looking forward to that one.
Okay, very nice.
Hopefully they'll keep that rolling for the Panhandle area down here.
It's growing everywhere. They had a global map at that booth, and you can see where people were, even from Australia and Africa, Europe. There's just so much growth in this meetup, concept under the Doug
Yep.
brand and umbrella. So exciting. Yeah, take a look. They got a great website that shows you. And if you don't have one nearby, we can always start one. And sometimes you just got to start virtually and take it from there.
Nice. And they announced the next location for DynamicsCon, Vegas.
Vegas,
So
baby. Yeah, we get to go back to
yeah,
Vegas now.
I know. Well, over the years, I've attended several conferences in Vegas. It's a great city. I love it. So I probably will try to make this one. They put the date out there as May 12th through 15th, and they've already got registration open. I don't know if it's on their website for registration, early bird registration, but it's on their Eventbrite listing.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I saw it was 9.99 for the ticket to sign up to get to Las Vegas next year. Even the customers that I brought were interested in saving money because their first time going this year had already, encouraged them to get the best deal that they can for next year. So
Definitely.
yeah, it
Yep.
looks like we're gonna new nice venue, the Fontainebleau Hotel.
Fun.
I've not
Hmm.
been there myself, but if they run this next one like they did this past one, it's gonna be fantastic.
Nice. Well, you'll probably, I'm gonna go ahead and say that you will see me out there.
Hmm. I might even try to catch a couple of since it's so far out west, I might have to hit a ski slope or two on my way in. We'll see.
Well, didn't that turn out poorly last time?
Oh no, I got a few days after DynamicsCon in Denver. I got 3 full days. It was pretty good.
I know, but when did you hurt your ankle or something?
I was mowing my lawn. That's completely
Oh, it was
outside of the mountains and the skiing. Yeah,
okay.
I was
Well,
dumb
you
walking.
should adjust that story and
Well, I
just
got
say
a
it was
few, but thankfully I'm past that, and my little wheelie scooty thing is gone. But I did hook up a little bit with Anya today, or Anya Chikursky. I saw her outside the elevator at DynamicsCon, and she was hungry for some pizza, and one of my customers gave her our leftover pizza literally just after we left the restaurant. She was so excited. So, this community is fun to keep in touch with each other and meet each other even outside the session rooms in the expo hall.
Good, good. And they have not started taking session uh, suggestions for next year yet, but that's coming soon. So they'll start rolling that out, asking people to send in their ideas for sessions for the Vegas conference.
Mhm.
We see a lot of the familiar faces presenting sessions from like one conference to another, from one year to the next. But it's open to anybody, right? I mean, anybody can just come in here and just sit in a session and say, "Hey, I like this topic. I would like to talk about it." Um,
100%. 100%. And reach out if you have an idea. Ask DynamicsCon. They'll find you somebody that will co-present with you, or partners and customers, or customers doing it themselves. Those are really like great stories to hear. Success stories about what they did, how they overcame, practical applications of things that really can help speed along whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yep, and these are welcoming crowds when you walk into a session as a presenter. People there to hear what you got to say. They have interest in what you're saying, and it's very open-minded and welcoming environment.
Hmm. Very true.
So we are wrapping up the call today. David, thank you for joining me today. Any ideas that we haven't touched on from this last session you want to tell us about?
You
Or
know, I will say in summary, great event, excellent networking, fantastic facility. A general observation is Business Central is coming on pretty strong. There was a very high attendance rate for that particular product line at this event. And well, there were a lot of folks around on the GP side. A lot of the questions and conversations weren't really, GP centric. They were more, how do I migrate to, Business Central? What do I need to know about? So there's a safe space there, I think, with the sessions that were presented to help have those conversations and not be like hardcore techie, BC, but ease people into the process. And I think we're going to see that at additional events and potentially even DynamicsCon next year have, a little bit more on GP to BC because that seems to be where a lot of interest is.
yep. And the 4 sessions that you did this conference, you feel like you'll resubmit those for next year? A new crowd of people come in. I have ideas already for what you might do next year.
I do. I have a fair amount of material at this point, and it's all fun, and I try to tweak it up just about every time I do a new one. I put in the
Hmm.
ideas, and it's up to the session track leaders to choose the sessions or the voting to choose the sessions. I like to
Yep.
put forward ideas out there, and if as a committee they feel that the content is worthy of selection, I 100%, put it out to the universe for that decision personally. So I tend to put more sessions out than I expect to give, but
Mhm.
it's backfired on me a couple times. They accept them all. But yeah, these are great ones, especially the telemetry one. I'm already working on essentially a major update to that one, having spoken with Kenny a little bit after the session this week. And I've got some ideas how to keep it fresh and to maybe do a little bit more of a live presentation and intermix with some of the slides that are there. So these are evolving,
Deal.
and I do expect to put some in next year, and who knows, maybe I'll get selected.
Awesome. Well, Dave, it's been great chatting with you, recapping about DynamicsCon. We all are looking forward to hearing more about your conference attendances and where you're headed next. Anything else that we can join you with on the journey in the dynamics world here.
Awesome.
So,
Thanks. Thank you, Noah. Check out the dynamicsmindset.com if you're curious about anything I'm writing about or passionate about. I try to post my, thoughts and some information out there on a periodic basis. So enjoy that.
awesome. All right, everybody, have a great day. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and we will see you on the road somewhere.
Hmm. Cheers.